So hi there, it's Karen and Neil from the Private Label University, and we have a question today from Walter. So Walter's question is, hi everyone, I'm new to the group, looking forward to growing, learning, and sharing. We are too, so welcome to the group. I'm in the process of working with my first gold supplier on Alibaba. My product is custom, meaning they will have to create a mold for it. They are asking for all the money up front. Is that the way it usually works? Appreciate any feedback. So I love questions like this because it's different than the normal questions that we get because a lot of people don't start from scratch and with a mold. So with that being said, we want to give you 3 tips on working with a supplier when you're going to be customizing your order. So what tips can we give Walter here?
So first tip you should know, Walter, is who is your supplier? You really have to know your supplier. That's a number 1 tip that we give all entrepreneurs and anyone doing business with new companies. You really have to do your research on that supplier, how long they've been in business. Do they actually make custom molds, or do they send it out to another company? Do they do the research and the R&D, the research and development? Do they do the QC, the quality control? How are they? What's their involvement with the production of your custom product? So very, very important. First tip is really know your supplier. Mm-hmm. Also, when you're dealing with custom molds and custom products, you have to have contracts. You want to make sure you have a contract in place, not only in America, but also, of course, you're going to need one with your supplier. You don't know what they're going to do with your product. You don't know who they're going to sell your product to. You may have the next billion-dollar product, the next greatest idea. And if you don't have a contract in place, that product will end up on many shelves around the world. So the important for tip number 2 is making sure that you have a good contract in place with the supplier you're working with. Mm-hmm. Also, number 3, you have to look at patents and trademarks and copyrights. You want to make sure it's great that you can come up with a custom product, but we hope that you've done all your research prior to introducing and getting that product made in the United States or in North America or wherever you're from, to make sure that you have everything in place. So you've done your research for the trademark, you've done a research for the patent, you've done a research for the design patents, and you make sure that they're all in place so the factory is also aware of this when you're handing them a new design of a product.
Mm-hmm. And not just whether or not the patents or the trademarks already exist, but if they don't exist, and this is something that you're creating from scratch, then you may want to go ahead and get those patents and trademarks. Otherwise, someone else may be knocking off your products.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And it's very easy because if there's nothing in place, even though you can say, well, I'm the one who thought of it, if there's nothing documented with proof of that, anyone can walk in, or even that supplier can show it to another company who may have a similar product and saying, here you go, I have a great product for you.
Mm-hmm. So another question is to ask the supplier who is actually going to be owning that mold and who has access to using that mold.
Right, because sometimes a lot of these factories will give you a discount price on the mold. They'll say, well, don't worry, we'll charge you half the price. And because there's no contract in place, they know that if they offer that opportunity for a really low cost for a mold, and that's another thing you have to be aware of, if it really is a low cost, then they can sell that product again to whoever they want.
Mm-hmm. And just keep in mind, the key is to understand who you're getting into a relationship with. Again, Alibaba is not our number 1 choice of accessing a supplier, especially I think when you're doing something from scratch, unless you have done your due diligence, because you don't know who's on the other side. Right? Are they really a factory? How long have you known them? And that's why we love to go to China. If you don't, I'm not here to talk about our China trip, but if you have not heard about our trip to China, where you actually get in front of 60,000+ vendors, suppliers that have factories that know products, and you're able to build relationships and really talk and communicate and understand who they are and their business is about, then you definitely want to probably scroll down to the feed. I'm sure there's information there. You can hop over to our website at privatelabeluniversity.com, and you'll see all the China information there. But it's really, really important if you're going to be, we know molds are expensive, but if you're going to be investing that kind of money, in time and in a product and for molds, you want to make sure that you really have that relationship and that you really understand who you are working with, because things can go wrong.
Yeah, and one thing you have to remember is if you do have a custom mold made and you don't know who this company is, you don't know if they can be gone 2 weeks after you made your mold. They've taken your money, they've produced it, maybe sent you a sample of it, and then they disappear. The company closes.
So we're not here to scare you. We just want you to show you what it actually looks like, what the real thing looks like, right? It looks so glamorous on Alibaba. You go on Alibaba and you can do this and that, and a lot of times you can. However, we just want to be realistic and kind of show you and teach you what to look for so that you are prepared for any situation, and that's where it's about. And then to get to the question, usually when you're doing a mold,
money in advance, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Now, for most of the time, if it is a custom mold, they will ask for 100% of the money up front. If they don't and they just ask for a small deposit, I'd be wary of the quality of the mold. If you're going to invest in a quality mold, yes, because it's yours. But again, you want to make sure you have those contracts in place.
And again, if this is a company you really want to work with and you've been building that relationship, maybe even having a company go in to do an inspection on the company. And we have resources for that as well. If that's something that you're looking for, to have a company go into the Chinese company and just make sure it is what it is, right? So that's another option too, if you're really set on using that company. So hope we answered your questions, and if you have any further questions, again, just comment below. If anyone has anything else to comment, we'd love to hear that as well. We hope that you got a ton of value, and thank you for being part of our Private Label University community.
Thanks,
We'll
Walter.
talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.